evening, folks, and welcome to episode 26 of Bum Talk. I am your host, Che Bums, along with my co-host,
Danny Bums.
And it was a crazy weekend of retirements, upsets, a little of everything for everybody. It was so crazy that we recorded Tuesday because we were just, our head was being processed of the whole shenanigans.
That's exactly the reason why.
Yeah. But nonetheless, thank you for joining us, episode 26. Just wanted to say... So it started with UFC. Fight Night 153 over at Sweden, the home of Alexander Gustaffson, a 3-time title challenger, one of the top contenders in the division for about 4 years to say at least.
Yeah, one of the great. To me, he's one of the greatest UFC fighters to never win a belt.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
He's like
the equivalents like Don Cerrone to one of the best fighters to not win a title. Absolutely. I mean, that you can't argue that, I think. But yeah, so it was Fight Night over there. He was the main event. But before we get to that, the co-main event, Jimi Manuwa, PB1, that's his name on Instagram, fought this up-and-comer guy that I never heard of to that day.
And he got slapped in the first round.
And that was a knockout.
It was bad.
The kick. The kick got him, I think, right here, if I'm not mistaken, like by the jaw right here, and just.
It's pretty bad. And then when his head bounced off the canvas, that was definitely it.
Good.
I'm happy for that kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was like I forget where he was from.
Somewhere in Europe. It's a European card, so these fighters they're out there.
Yeah, I mean. I don't know what that means. Obviously, I don't even think the kid was ranked. Now he is.
I don't think he was ranked either. Yeah.
But why that's significant is because earlier today, Jimi Manuwa announced his retirement at 39 years old.
Get out.
He did.
Wow.
He's lost 4 in a row.
And you remember.
And prior to that, he not only lost to Gustafsson and I forgot who else.
Vulcan.
No, prior to the 4 losses.
Okay.
I forgot who.
Because he was a top contender.
Yeah, I remember after beating Corey Anderson, he was the legitimate...
like the next guy in line, almost to say, more or less.
And then they put him on the Jon Jones
Cormier,
just to be backup. And he actually lost that fight, I think. I think he lied. I forgot who he... I don't know. I don't remember.
But he lost, yeah.
Eventually he lost, and he lost 4 in a row. One of them being Vulcan. I think Anthony Smith, too.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but they were all bad knockouts.
Thiago Santos,
yes, they were bad knockouts. It wasn't like, he went the distance. Like, he got, knocked out. And I guess someone that age, almost 40 years old, it's harder for you to, recover.
Of course.
And it's great because, like, a couple years ago, he was a contender, and then now...
Absolutely, yeah. 2 years ago, he was in title contention if it wasn't for Jon Jones.
I feel like in MMA, people easily forget, like, once you get 1-2 losses, you're kind of lost in the shuffle. Especially in the UFC.
No. MMA, losses are way more forgiving than in boxing.
Oh, but yeah, boxing, yeah.
Big example, look at Anthony Smith, Nate Diaz,
13, 15 losses.
Jorge Masvidal.
13, 15 losses.
Yeah, it's a different culture. Brandon Sharp spoke about that, and I completely agree.
But I'm shocked about that. I didn't think that. I mean, that was a nasty knockout. You can say probably one of the knockouts of the year. Just, I think in the first round too, I believe.
Yeah,
too.
It was pretty crazy.
But yeah, he's been knocked out a lot the last few fights. So I mean, I guess he kind of realized, hey, you know what? I guess he realized I can't hang with the top guys and I can't hang with these up and comer guys. So, kudos to him. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're a contender, and
absolutely. He was a big face in the UK London MMA scene.
Absolutely correct.
He's part of the Leon Edwards, the Darren
Tills, the whole UK,
the great Michael Bisping,
probably the best UK fighter
of all time. So next to Conor.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot. Ireland's part of the UK.
But yeah, so it sucks
next
for
to Artem.
And he was actually I think after one of his, I think it might have been his first loss was to Alexander Gustaffson years ago. And
yeah, he lost that.
I think he became like sparring partners with him. Now they're training their gym
in the same gym. Yeah. So if you don't mind me looking this up, so in 2014 he lost to Alexander Gustaffson, right? In 15, he got knocked out at Rumble Johnson.
And those were his only 2 losses, and then all of a sudden he lost 2.
Then 2016 he beat a veteran OSP. OSP's a big name,
That was such a crazy finish.
Yeah, and then like you said, he beat Corey Anderson, and then from there, that's where the decline happened.
Yeah, he lost the next.
Lost
4
to Vulcan.
fights.
So knocked out by Vulcan in the first round. Went to the decision with Jan Blankovic, who's a Polish guy. Got knocked out by Thiago Santos.
And just got knocked out this past weekend.
So yeah, so he's on the decline. Yeah, so. But anyway, I didn't know that, but kudos to him. It's not easy, and it's a tough sport. Obviously, people retire young. This isn't like these aren't typical athlete careers.
Combat sports they're no joke.
They're no joke.
I think the human body the head is not meant to be hit.
Absolutely correct. And
Deontay Wilder can tell you all about that.
The training camp, everything, the cutting weight, the dieting. That's just you're pushing your body to the limits, obviously. But also makes them athletes and super athletes and these glorified fighters, to say, I guess, to the least. But anyway, congratulations on your career, and wish you all the best.
Yep.
But I guess following that same that trend, the main event, as I mentioned first. It was against 3-time title challenger Alex Gustafsson, against 1-time challenger against Jon Jones, Anthony Lionheart Smith. And this was a great fight, to be honest.
It was a great matchup because those are Jon's
last two
fights.
And that rarely happens, right?
Yeah,
Especially
and you know what I
nowadays.
like about this? Because this kind of proved to me, I never really thought Gustafsson was the legitimate #1 contender because he basically had stayed out
for a couple
longer
years.
than Jon Jones, and since his absence, so many people the divisions become entirely
open.
So I was very skeptical about this match, and also because Jon Jones finished
this time, the last
Gustafsson, he did not finish Smith.
Absolutely
so
correct.
that's why this is an interesting matchup. So I thought
good point.
and I completely agree with what Gustafsson said in the press conference. He said, if I can't beat this guy, I can't hang with it, because there's the Thiago Santos, the Anthony Smiths,
the newcomers, new era.
5 years is every division, because it's the UFC. It's the highest level.
Absolutely correct.
It's you're gonna hit that.
Over time it happens. Absolutely correct about that.
So and the fight that's why in the fight I kind of expected Anthony Smith to win, and he did. He submitted.
Gustafsson in the towards the end of the fourth round. Yeah, with the rear naked choke.
Gustafsson has great boxing.
He does, and like I told you, up into that round, he was pretty much winning the fight. He had the fight basically secured up into that point. If it was a 3-round fight, he would have won the fight easily. And the way he was countering, every time Anthony threw a punch, Gustafsson was countering. But then, in UFC, you make one mistake and you can pay for it. He fell to the ground, and then that's where slowly kind of like he was trying to get out, and he tapped out. But it was a great fight. It really was. I was going for Gustafsson. He was home field advantage. Obviously, he was 2-0 prior to losing back home in Sweden. So I thought, okay, he'll probably win, and then we'll see what happens with the title picture. But obviously, in this case, he lost, which also brings to the sad news, which he at the end, and caught me by surprise, he retired. He said, "This is over."
Oh man, that was, and I kind of expected that, because he said if I can't hang with these guys, then it's
it's a smart move, obviously, because he's still, I'm sure he's still pretty young relatively in his prime, so
yeah, absolutely,
he still has years to fight, but not many people do this. People wait till they're almost 40 to retire.
Yeah, he left his gloves in the octagon. It was beautiful.
Absolutely.
He said the show's over. It was
show's
great.
over, guy.
And
that's it.
Like I said, it's exactly true what Jon Jones said about him. He goes like, you held this division to such a high standard. He was such a great competitor. He gave us the fight with Cormier. The Cormier and Jon Jones have been arguably the best light heavyweights of all time.
Absolutely.
And he gave them both such a run for the money. His
hell.
First fight with Jon Jones was arguably considered the greatest MMA fighter of all time. That fight considered to be one of the greatest MMA fights of all time.
And we saw that fight recently. Remember before we saw Jones?
Yeah,
it was 2. We saw it on TV. We were like, wow, that could have gone back and forth. Honestly.
Yeah, it was just a great fight. And to me, he's one of the greatest MMA fighters to never win a bout.
Class athlete. You never hear anything controversial from him.
And the thing is that fight against Gustafsson did so much for his career. And back home, he became such a star.
Superstar. He became a legit superstar. I think after the Jones fight, if I'm not mistaken, he won in Sweden, the best athlete in Sweden the next year. So that raised a superstar. And obviously he was going to cover the first UFC game with Jon Jones, so it made him a superstar. Obviously, but like Danny Bum said, because I remember I texted him. He had stepped out. I texted him. What Danny Bum says is correct. He's a legend, class athlete. Never
it was very
controversial.
sad to see him, but I'm so happy for him.
But and this is the thing. You don't see us a lot in athletes. Like if they see this new wave of generation fighters coming, they're going to keep competing with them. But I think he retired good. You know, you don't want to retire like losing 4 or 5 straight fights, getting knocked out or submitted. So
yeah,
and that's pride. That's your ego there too. You know, you're putting your pride aside. Hey, listen, you know what? Like you said, if I can't hang with these guys, then what's the point of me being here? I'm taking away, you know, title opportunities for, you know, up and coming fighters, whether it's Anthony Smith or, you know, or Volkan again, or whoever it is, or Thiago Santos. Because like I said, every 4 or 5 years you get that new wave of fighters, or any sport, obviously. But anyway, congrats to Alexander Gustaffson, a 3-time title challenger over the span of 5 years. I think 5 years, 2013, 2014, 5, 4, 6 years.
yeah.
And it's hard to be a title challenger that long.
And it makes me so excited for the Thiago Santos fight with Jon
Up-and-coming
Jones because
fighter.
I think he's gonna be Jon's like real test. If Jon gets past this guy, Jon cleared out his division practically.
And one thing about Thiago Santos,
Thiago Santos knocked out Anthony Smith.
Yes.
Like a little over a year ago. So
and
that's gonna be. That's gonna.
It's a great fight. It really is.
That guy's legitimate.
And another thing about Thiago Santos, the physical. Like Jon Jones has never fought someone like that big and ripped.
Yeah.
Like he's fought tall guys, short guys, Anthony Smith guys, but no one like, you know, like a.
Oh, that's gonna be.
I'm not saying Hulk size, but you know, someone who's like, you can tell, wow, this guy's very
that's
big.
Gonna
Yeah.
be great.
So that's a great fight, and that's the main event for the July, right? I'll confirm, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm double checking.
It's Jon Jones.
International
But
fight.
yeah,
fight
it was a good. I mean, I think Volkan and Latifi were supposed to be on. It would have been such a great card.
Yeah, they were the co-main event, and I would have figured if that fight would have happened, maybe Anthony Smith would have fought the winner of that. Who, obviously, we don't know. We're not matchmakers, but depending on what happens in July with Jon Jones and what his plans is to go up at 265 or whatever he wants to do.
No, I think they're gonna set him up against Luke Rockhold. Should he win? I would love Luke Rockhold to win because I really want Anthony Smith to punch a hole in his face. Well, that's what he said.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Because he criticized him after losing Anthony Smith. I'm like, yeah, but at least he went the distance against Jon Jones. People don't go the distance.
Jon Jones.
I mean, not to get sidetracked, but I don't know if Luke Rockhold does a title fight after he beats, I think, Jank Blankovic, he's a veteran. He's a top 5 guy, top 7 guy in the light heavyweight division. If he beats him, I don't think that merits him a title shot. But obviously, it's a day and age of money fight, so you know, so it is what it is. But obviously, you know, Luke Rockhold has been gunning at Jon Jones for a long time, especially with him being teammates of Daniel Cormier. So it's a little bit, I guess, a little personal there with them. But yeah, I mean, it was a sad weekend for MMA. You know, 2 guys retired, 2 European guys, obviously, but it's part of the game. People retire, you move on, new stars come up, and we'll see what happens. Congrats, Anthony Smith, for coming back, because, you know, it's hard to come back after a title fight loss, especially fighting a contender again. Like, you might take someone lower.
He
Both
didn't just beat anyone. Like I said, he beat a legend. You know, that guy's done. He's
and Anthony Smith said
incredible career.
Anthony Smith said in his post-fight interview, he goes, "This fight was risky for both of us because we both came off lost title fights, so this could have put us back in a hole."
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's part of the fight game. Obviously, somebody wins, someone loses. It's just part of the fight game. It's just what it is. So we'll see. Like Danny Bum said, we'll see what happens with the light heavyweight division. At least we know 2 guys are gone for now. So
yeah.
I guess it might clear the picture a little much more, or whenever Latifi comes back or Volkan, whatever it is. But yeah, any last words on UFC Fight Night?
Eager to see what happens in July. Less than a month away, or a month away.
About a month away, yeah, because we got a big card this weekend. But so moving from the octagon, I can't do the stop sign. We're going into the square circle on Saturday night at the mecca of sports and boxing, where the consensus, people say, the IBF, correct me if I'm wrong, the IBF, the WBA.
It was a good card. We can go over the card.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah. It was
Chris Algieri started the card off. He
strong out, right?
He got a win. And
he fought for a belt, right?
No. I mean, I think he's for a contender shot. So now he's lined up with one of the champions at 140.
And 140 is super lightweight? I forget.
Light welterweight.
Light welterweight, yeah.
Or junior welterweight, I think. So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to get to the championship matches. First, we start off with the second undisputed women's fight of the year, and also the second undisputed fight in the whole boxing this year so far. It's probably going to be the only one.
KT.
Katie Taylor versus Pearson.
What country was she from? Belgium was she from?
Yeah, I think she was Belgium.
I think,
for the
2 European girls.
Yeah, basically for the undisputed 135-pound title of boxing. Katie has 3 of them, all but the WBC, which Pearson had.
Pearson has, yeah. And where's she on, real fast?
What?
Where's she on, Pearson? What promoter is she with?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much about her. I just knew she's been a.
She has the last piece of the puzzle.
Basically,
she's Exodia.
Like, she was not. She is even coming into the fight. She wasn't like a how you say.
Top elite fighter or popular fighter.
No, she wasn't no one to play with.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's absolutely correct.
Delphine, she's Belgian, yeah.
She's Belgium? Okay. Yeah, so like Danny mentioned, this is for the...
Yeah, Undisputed. This is for... And Katie, granted, she won a gold medal in 2016. This is like her, her 13th fight. Her record going into this fight, she was 43-1. Absolute veteran.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know what else to tell you. So this was a really good fight, matchup fight, and this was Katie's first test, and it clearly proved that.
It did.
I didn't really score it. I didn't look. I either had it a draw or going either way. I think maybe Persian might have edged it.
So
Clarissa Shields had it either. Clarissa Shields, the GOAT, had it either, and I obviously take her opinion very
high. Yeah.
She had it either one round for Katie going up or tie.
Okay, so if I remember the judges, the first judge obviously gave it a draw. I forget the actual number, and then the next two obviously gave. I think it was 115, 113. Is that I forget?
Yeah.
Gave it to Katie Taylor, and like you mentioned, it could have gone both ways. And obviously, I'm no judge, but from what I saw, I thought Pearson. Last name is Pearson, right? Pearson. I thought she landed more critical shots,
yeah.
or at least that's what I saw when I watched the fight. To me, it seemed like she landed more of the more strongest punches. And you saw Taylor. You saw Katie Taylor struggle. She struggled. You saw her move around. She was panting a little bit towards the end.
The thing is, though, like she's young though.
Taylor.
So yeah. So I imagine in the rematch, which I hope that fight warrants a rematch. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure Taylor's gonna be better.
Of course.
Cause she's that other girl. She's at the end of her prime, or middle of the prime. Katie is not even the beginning of her prime. Like she's only like I don't know how many fights in. She just turned pro in 2016.
So about 3 years. So in other words, you could say it was kind of like a wake up call for her.
Yeah, but it was a great fight.
It was controversial because you saw Pearson's. You heard some of the crowd's reaction. They're like, oh.
Poor Pearson. She just left and she cried.
Yeah, I mean, she walked away before obviously they were gonna interview her.
That's boxing. What else you want?
It is what it is, but it was a good fight. It was a slugfest. You saw it got sloppy a little bit at the end, I guess, because they were tired and they were punching. They were punching their hearts out. But it was a good fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have gone both ways. I thought Pearson probably won, but like I said, hopefully this warrants a rematch. We'll see what happens, especially with Pearson probably being towards another career, like you had mentioned, or towards middle of the prime. So we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, Katie Taylor is still a champ, obviously, like you said.
Yeah, that was her 14th fight.
Wow, so in 3 years, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but congrats to Ireland, man. That's arguably one of the greatest.
Ireland has a lot of boxers.
Irish athletes of all time.
A lot of boxers.
I think her and Conor are probably the biggest combat sports athlete and Sheamus. No. Her, Conor, and Becky are the best of all time.
How about Finn Balor?
In their sports.
Well,
who has done more than in professional wrestling? Who has done more than Becky Lynch coming out of Ireland?
That's true. But so trying not to get off topic. But since you mentioned this, now I think about it, Ireland's probably, at least in Europe, is probably the biggest country where they have superstars in each of combat sports: boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling. If you just think about it right now, and the stage they are right now, Conor, Becky, Sheamus, Finn Balor, boxers, Becky Lynch, all these people. So absolutely correct. Definitely, Ireland's definitely up there. But yeah, I do agree with you. So now to the co-main event, right? One of your favorite divisions in boxing?
Yeah, super middleweight.
Callum
Smith. He hasn't fought since like last year or something, since he won the World Boxing Super Series. He was able to win. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, not all titles were on that line for that tournament.
It was just
that season, just a WBA.
Yeah.
And I think the Ring magazine status.
Yeah, he had the belt. I saw that.
So I guess that status gave technically the consent, because there's 4 champions.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one of them unifies, which PBC can do that because they have 2 of the belts.
Killer Plant and
Anthony Durrell. That guy, whoever will become number 1, but at the moment, I think consensus-wise, it's definitely this guy because he won that tournament. His first title defense against Hassan and Dam. He's previously fought at middleweight. He's lost to big names like Peter Quillin and I think David Lemieux, someone else.
Title challengers, basically, right?
So I mean, it was a good matchup for him. It was a recognized name. He didn't just fight anybody.
Yeah.
And wow.
He put on a clinic, man.
I really wanted to see his fight because I've heard so much about him. I've never seen the guy fight. Just Callum Smith, and he's I love about his story.
That sums it up, right? That basically sums it up.
You know what I love about his story? Just like Canelo and his brothers. He's the youngest one, and he's the most talented one, most successful one.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Wow. I mean, usually that's the case, but yeah,
he just looked amazing.
I don't know. To me, it looked like he
uses his height and reach.
He's a very tall
really
middleweight. He is. And what's the name? The challenger was Nassan. To me, Nassan, he looked like a moving punching bag, because he got dropped multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Yeah. Like he looked like.
Everyone ended in the third round.
He looked like a punching bag to me. He was like a big.
But like his jab, like the hook that he can land as he's pulling away. This guy, Callum, it's
because he had
what is he doing?
Obviously he has the height advantage. Yeah. He can back off and obviously control.
It's amazing.
That's a big, but what a clinic. He put a clinic on.
I like that, and he's obviously one of the 3 options that Canelo has for the fall. The 3 options are Gennady, which is probably going to happen.
The rematch, yeah.
Demetrius Andrade, and maybe Callum Smith at 168.
If he decides to, obviously.
But obviously, I love what Callum Smith. I'm not going to wait for that fight. Some people wait a lifetime. He said those words. He goes.
He did say that.
I like what he said. He said, "I want to unify." Obviously, that seems kind of hard because ESPN has the other guy. The belt WBO with Billy Joe.
BGS, who just won it about 2 weeks ago, I think. Right?
Yeah, and we know Caleb. He actually is going to have his first title defense on the card of the Pacquiao Thurman fight.
In July, yes, absolutely correct.
And then Anthony Durrell is probably going to fight David Benavidez,
and they're on PBC, right?
Disrespect to Anthony Durrell, but I imagine that guy might get murdered that night.
But
you want to see a murder? You watch Benavidez versus Durrell.
We'll see. But I mean, yeah. So back to what Caleb was saying. Obviously, he wants to unify and everything. And I don't say this. Obviously, I haven't been put in that position. But I feel like if you come off a victory and you interview, obviously you're full of emotion. So sometimes you're not cognizant of what you're saying. Obviously, you want to say something cheery and get the crowd rowdy. So, but I do believe he says he wants to unify. He said he wants to fight the next contender. He's not gonna wait, like you said, for a Canelo. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. He just wants.
I mean, hopefully.
If it happens, it happens. Like you said, it's not like he's not chasing for it.
No.
If it happens, it happens. Obviously,
he wasn't active because he had like a kid and stuff.
Oh, okay.
His first daughter or something.
So I mean, fair. I mean, I guess fair play. Things happen. Obviously.
Yeah. But it was great to finally see this kid in action. He is everything they talk about, even more. And what I noticed about this card,
what's up?
Eddie whipped out his biggest things, like his biggest
stars.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I guess now since we're talking about the whole card trajectory.
I mean, obviously Tevin's big, but he's technically a co-promotion.
Yeah.
Usyk is big; he's a co-promotion. He has Danny Jacobs, but he already fought.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, so back to you saying. So obviously for this fight, he pulled out his stars, obviously, and
from the UK.
From the UK, it makes sense. It makes sense because obviously they're fighting right across the river.
And to be honest, that's card of the year for boxing. I can no other card in boxing.
As far as being stacked,
it was stacked, man.
It definitely was. Obviously, we're in the day and age of streaming, so it's not pay-per-view. Because if it was pay-per-view, obviously, I think the hype would be much more bigger. Because unfortunately, everyone has his own, whatever the case is. But it makes sense. Eddie Hearn wanted to make a statement in the States. Who do you bring? You bring your stars. And then...
Well, last month he had Jacobson.
Well, but like you said, like his homegrown stars.
Yeah,
not the guys that he acquired through signing. His homegrown, to say his homegrown talent, to say least. So he wanted to make a statement. He
signed all those 3 since
day one, basically.
I think,
Day one, basically. Yeah. To say. So you want to make a statement in the U.S., the mecca of boxing, MSG, probably the most expensive real estate in the whole world, in the States. And you bring all your top stars, including the one that we got to talk about, his top dog acquisition, Anthony Joshua, whoever
in
won.
In a title defense.
Who's making his U.S. soil debut right across the river, which is like about 5 miles, less than 3 miles out from here, from where we live. The world was waiting for this.
Yeah, so he was set to fight Big Baby Miller, Jared Miller, but he was found with every drug possible in 1 week. So
EPO, right?
Including EPO.
Including EPO. That's one of the guys Ali was talking about.
Yeah. Ali Abdelaziz knows a lot of guys on that.
What's that tell you? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? You're saying like, pay me.
He says,
pay me.
I know at least 5 guys on that. Even when I read that, I said, wait, what?
Yeah, why would you want to say that?
What did he just say?
And if you know that stuff, you don't say it. Keep it to yourself or your circle. You don't say that. And then Ben asking, right?
He goes like, I'm a little annoyed that the VADA woke me up this morning, but I love that they're testing for EPO. He goes like, if only, he goes like,
now if they can catch a guy that Ali warns about,
like, maybe they can catch those guys that Ali was talking.
Which obviously he's taking a jab. Obviously he's taking a jab at him. Well, so he's telling the truth, but he's taking a jab at Ali for saying that because
obviously it's just so funny.
That's like saying you take an exam and go, I know 4 people who cheated. Then don't say that.
Hopefully they can catch those 4 guys that he knows they're talking about.
Yeah, they're probably his guys too anyway.
All right, going back. So Baby Miller was out, and these guys needed to find someone, and then Andy Ruiz, he creeped into Eddie Hearn's DMs. He goes like, hey, I'm fighting this Saturday.
Oh, so is that true?
Yeah, I'm fighting this Saturday on the Danny Garcia undercard. Please watch me. I'm gonna sleep through this guy, and then I'm gonna fight AJ, and I'm gonna beat him. So
this is true. Confirm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then, obviously, this guy destroyed this nobody. Because I think Andy hadn't fought in like a couple months. I think it's like last summer.
Yeah, because he fought 3 weeks ago on, like I said, in the California card.
April.
It was April. Really? Damn.
April first Saturday when Danny fought.
Damn, it's been that long. Wow.
So then, yeah, no, it was April 20th.
It was towards the end of April, early May. I remember that.
Yeah,
Wasn't that?
It was like 5-6 weeks away from Anthony. So that was the talk. Obviously, the whole controversy with Luis Ortiz. I don't even want to get into that.
That's a whole spiel.
So obviously, okay, whatever. I don't know. I saw this guy fight once. He saw it, and I told him, yo, that guy that fought on Saturday, he might fight AJ. And even I texted him, he goes, and he could tell me like, the guy's a bum. I'm like, he looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, because he fought some big European guy. I remember that it was some big European guy. He just picked him apart.
So I'm watching. So I'm like, all right, you know what? It's sellable. He looks really. He's actually only lost 1 to 1 guy.
Yes.
And that was against Joseph Parker when the bout was vacated by Tyson Fury. So
Parker's a British guy, right?
New Zealand.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
He just signed with Eddie Hearn.
Oh, there you go. So maybe that can happen. Maybe.
No, Andy Ruiz, he's PPC. I'll get into that in a second. So his only loss was to
Joseph Parker,
and that was a split decision in New Zealand.
Okay, yeah.
So that's his only loss.
That's always up in the air, home court advantage.
Some people say he put one. I never won the fight. I didn't even hear about the guy since before the Danny Garcia fight. So
or a Snickers.
Yeah. So he's really pushing for that fight. He gets the fight against announced. This guy is just a great guy. He's a class act.
Happy guy, nothing crazy.
What I noticed about him, what stood out, he has the fastest hands in the heavyweight division.
Really?
He's obviously not the strongest. You obviously know who's the strongest. Probably, definitely Deontay Wilder.
Till this
day. So I'm like, maybe he can catch AJ. I don't know. We'll see how this fight goes.
All right.
And holy fucking shit.
And you want to talk about Dave versus Goliath? I know I get thrown a lot, especially in combat sport.
I remember I asked him before the fight. I'm like, yo,
you
how
did.
Does this end?
You asked me.
He goes like knockout. I'm like, before 6 or after 6?
Before 6, right? I said that.
And
I remember.
Then he left.
And then I left, and then my brother texted me in the third round.
Actually, I scored the first round. I think I might have scored it
Joshua
for Andy.
told me.
Second round, I think I gave it to Joshua. Third round was round of the year.
Yes, because they both got dropped.
That's what I'm saying. Anthony is so good. He did this beautiful combination that I know for a fact Andy has never even faced before. He did this uppercut hook. Boom! That just knocked Andy on his ass. Andy just looks at AJ like, oh my god, like it's on. Andy thought, and then that's what everyone thought. This fight's over. And then even Andy said, I gotta get this guy back. All of a sudden, Andy just, because he's small. I'm
listening, yeah.
And the thing is, AJ has kind of trouble. AJ's good at fighting people, either people his height or taller.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had trouble against Povetkin because Povetkin.
I remember that, yeah.
He almost got hurt by Dillian White the first time they fought years ago.
Yes, he told me that.
And I think he's a little small.
And then with Brazil, he won, but he struggled like here and there. He had like, because
Brazil's almost his height, so it's not a really big thing. But just the fact that he has to go down.
Yeah, it's a different game.
His hands are so fast that he just caught this guy in the back of the head, clipped him, and he knocks him down once.
Yes.
It was a weird knockdown. I'm like, is that a knockdown? Whatever. Okay, they both have a knockdown. Then towards the end of the round, he does it again. Oh my God! I thought after the second knockdown that was a legitimate knockdown. The way he went down, I'm like, I just thought, holy fuck!
You're like, that's it.
It's over.
It's
like,
over.
But all of a sudden the bell saves him.
Yeah, yeah.
Fourth round, AJ's mostly on his bicycle. I think maybe because of aggression. I think I give it to Andy. Fifth round, AJ got that.
Yes.
He was back. He looked okay. Sixth round.
So things started going kind of. I don't want to say decline, but you can kind of see okay, like it's going.
Andy, yeah, he definitely made a statement. The seventh round. Oh my God.
This is the game changer.
History, man. Once again, he knocks him down twice.
Yes.
And this was the first one. This is the one, the iconic picture. This is his Muhammad Ali moment.
As a Muhammad Ali or against Sonny Liston.
It's just like, just because, and dude, remember when the fight started, you said, Anthony Joshua was built like a freaking superhuman.
A superstar. I say he looks like Adonis.
His body's like.
He looks like a Greek goddess. He does. I'm not.
He looks insane. And he's fighting like this big guy, but it's heavyweight boxing. It doesn't matter.
He's fighting this guy, by the way.
Yeah, he grew up to be.
I can't even see it. Whatever.
He grew up to be.
The guy from
He
Up.
used to be. Now he's heavyweight champion of the world. All of a sudden, he knocks him down twice. The second time, Anthony looked gassed. He looks to his corner. He barely responds.
He looked like he was out of it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he lost his mouth guard. And
he didn't want, all of a sudden, he
was out of it.
So the referee did the smart thing, and all of a sudden, the illusion of greatness was exposed.
Absolutely
That's how I called it. And wow, and it was just, I was so happy for Andy. And you know what I liked about this? I like that Sammy Watson showed up.
Okay.
He's like because you know how Heyman's never
shows his face.
Yeah, he hates it. He's like his actual face
puppet, I guess.
His guy that shows up to these things, and because he's a PBC guy, he actually was there.
Okay, yeah, he came out with him.
Yeah, so and the fact they were there with him, even though they hate the zone, the fact that they were on the platform, it was crazy, but. Oh my God! The first thing I thought, I'm like, Al Heyman just stole the belts. That's what I just thought.
He did, and
actually he didn't because there's a
rematch clause. So
he needs to get through it, and then Al Heyman goes, "Give me those belts."
Yeah.
But that's the first thing I thought. I'm like, Al Heyman. And then all of a sudden, all you see from your PBC just tweet Mexican flag.
So for you'll figure for the rematch is probably in November, October.
Yeah, November, December.
So 5 months out, 6 months out. So for now, PBC is Thanos for now. They're Thanos right now. They have all 4 belts, PBC. For the moment, they have it.
Yeah.
Temporary. It's not confirmed until, obviously, the rematch. And
unfortunately, the fight will be billed against Joshua Ruiz, too.
It will. But
that's how boxing is. It's so annoying.
And like Eddie Hearn said, most likely is going to be in the UK. And obviously, that sometimes favors home field advantage, sometimes favor,
Yeah.
Especially boxing.
But it was
MMA.
it was one of the biggest upsets in combat sports I've seen. In boxing history, it's up there. It's heavyweight boxing. The first
American Mexican.
It was just wow. You know what the thing is? This what tells you how Anthony Joshua was big. Everyone was watching that. Conor was watching that. Canelo was watching that. Deontay, everyone. Tyson Fury,
everyone watching it.
And the sport, it was
and this guy's been a superstar for years because even Dana White before Joshua got big.
Going back to Anthony, the way he took that loss was class act. Such a gentleman. I didn't message him, but I commented on his picture. I left him a couple words. I told him, that, and it's what I hear a lot of people saying in combat sports, and especially even in life. In life there's winning and then there's learning.
Absolutely correct.
And I told him, I wrote that on his picture. I'm like, you're a stud. You're gonna be fine. You'll be back.
So,
then really quick, the upsetting thing was and then Mike Coppinger tweeted. Ariel Helwani was going crazy.
Yeah, he was definitely watching that.
Mike Coppinger was tweeted, and even Ariel tweeted the same thing. I'm like, what Ariel said.
Well, Ariel's a boxing fan, obviously. But yeah, absolutely. So, while you'll find that real fast tweet, I'll give my 2 cents. I saw the fight on my phone. I was out, and then I saw it again. The last 2-3 rounds, Anthony Joshua, his demeanor. I don't know what a boxing psychological mindset is, but he looked like he was out of it. He just looked like he was just doing it for kicks. I'm not saying he was underestimating his opponent, but he looked like he was just out of it. You kind of see he was just in and out of it. His face kind of showed I'm not really trying. And to me, Andy Ruiz, to me, when he was punching him, he looked like a kid at a candy store to me. That's how I saw. I saw the kid in Anthony Ruiz.
You saw how fast he is.
Yeah, what?
He smelled blood and he just went for it.
Yeah, like he
he's got a chin on him too. You saw the way AJ's combo was nicer than any of his off the 4 that you knocked him out.
Absolutely
AJ
correct.
combos was like, God, man.
And when Andy Ruiz saw,
when you saw that, his reaction, you can tell Andy Ruiz has never felt that or seen that before.
Absolutely correct. And like I said, when Andy Ruiz attacked him, to me it was like Andy was a kid at a candy store, just trying to get all the candy, and just punching away. But anyway, I'm assuming you found a tweet.
Tweeted, did these promoters think they could keep playing with fire by night booking Wilder versus Joshua when it could have been one of the highest grossing fights ever?
Mm-hmm.
Absurd, what a disaster. Exactly. This is why they failed at that. But then again, Ruiz was not supposed. He was supposed to cruise through Ruiz and see what happens next.
Remember, this fight, and from the get-go, this fight wasn't supposed to happen. Andy Ruiz wasn't supposed to take this fight.
No, he's a PBC fighter. Like, are you kidding
me?
Eddie
Hearn could have said, "Nah, I don't want you to fight my guy." Eddie Hearn could have said, I mean, I think Eddie Hearn wouldn't have canceled the fight because obviously it's their U.S. debut. You don't want to cancel that, obviously. So, but Eddie Hearn could have said, "Nah, I don't know who you are. Just I'll pick someone else." It's Eddie Hearn, but And you heard Eddie Hearn at the end of the press. He said Anthony Joshua was sloppy, and then you tagged me, I think yesterday, or was it a friend, that apparently that through training camp Anthony won't pull out of the fight because he had some kind of injuries, I think, like something about
he might have gotten dropped,
or some kind of bruised bones or something like that.
Supposedly, the reason why which Eddie denies, the reason why he left the locker room late is because he had an anxiety attack. He didn't want to do it.
The pressure, probably, and everything.
Eddie made him, and Joshua's father were not.
Yeah, apparently, Joshua's dad's pissed off, mad, or whatever. So, I mean, like everything is a lot. It's multiple stories. Who said what? What's true? What's not? Obviously, we don't know the true story. I'm sure. Whenever Anthony's ready for his post-fight interview, real fight interview, whoever interviewed him, a lot of stuff will be revealed.
And the thing is, because AJ's such a nice guy,
he is.
I don't want to. I feel bad for him too. I'm like, yo, this kid, like, he just.
But the pressure was on him.
Is, the heavyweight division was a 3-headed monster. Now it's just a 2-headed monster.
Yes, it was.
Because the thing, it works out schedule-wise because, Deontay's scheduled to fight Luis Ortiz in the fall, and then early spring he's scheduled to fight.
Got confirmed Friday night on the eve of Anthony Joshua's.
Apparently, the contract signed according to him. So that leaves. That means that left, like, had Anthony would have won, that left him without an opponent for the next two fights. But now he has one for the fall, which is going
TBA to be announced. Exactly.
So, but holy hell, man, what a moment! It just. Real quick, going back. That's what I mean. We were robbed we weren't robbed in the sense that it was a very entertaining fight night.
No, it was not. People love upsets.
What could have been, I felt robbed as a boxing fan. Now, we'll never see. At least we will probably see the fight, but it will just not be
hopefully
what it was. And I love what AJ said. He goes like, I mean, this sucks. I would have much preferred to have lost to Wilder. It would have been a big. It's just we will never. It would just what that fight could have been, one of the biggest fights in years.
Absolutely correct, Danny Bumps. Absolutely, you hit it right in the nail.
Real quick before we go, who you got in the rematch?
It's tough. I think another reason why he lost is probably also because of depression, anxiety, like you mentioned. I think that played a big factor in him, because he hasn't fought. You know what? I'm gonna go Anthony Joshua with the win. Back home, time off.
But I mean, I think he knows, and I think Andy's gonna go into this knowing the same thing. Like
he'll be the underdog.
Both of them are gonna respect each other and say, either of us, we're nothing to play with.
No, absolutely correct. It's weird because I'm calling wrestling now. It's hard to see face versus face, but that was a face versus face. That was a baby face versus baby face. You don't see a lot of wrestling. Face versus face. You see heel versus heel versus face, but you don't see a lot of face versus faces. But yeah, I mean, I'm still shocked. It was crazy.
And you know what? And also,
the memes.
Props to Eddie for just
gambling. Well, I mean, that's life, right? In life, you gamble.
No, not that, but being a man and facing all the interviews, taking everyone's interview after that, seconds out, IFL TVs, official behind the gloves. He took everyone's interviews. No one made excuses.
Absolutely correct.
So
you own up. You own up. Like everything else, life's a gamble, risk. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But as long as you show up and you don't make excuses, and I mean, Anthony lost. Like you said, what could have been between Wilder versus Anthony Joshua would have been obviously the fight, one of the greatest fights ever.
Yeah, one of the biggest fights
ever. But remember, I said a few weeks ago, I said I put Wilder over Joshua. Remember, and then you know, like I
think after this performance, yeah, I think that.
I was always sure about it, but this guarantees that Wilder is definitely over Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Or like he says, to this day. But yeah, it was like I said, it was a wild weekend. Retirements, upsets, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, whatever you watch. It was another jam-packed weekend. We have another packed weekend next week. UFC 238, obviously. Triple G fights next week, so it's a lot. And the following week, you have Bellator New York City. You have the debut of Tyson Fury on Top Rank, so it's a lot to cover.
Coming up, and then obviously leading to the monster that is UFC 237.
237 is 238 is this Friday, Saturday. 239 is July, obviously. So, yeah.
A lot of things to go over.
There's a lot to talk about. Like the debut of Triple G on the Zone, Tyson Fury on Top Rank. Then there's another card on PBC on Fox. I think end of the month. I think it is.
Probably, I don't know.
I forget who's fighting, but it's a big fight on Fox. So it's a lot. Summer's a lot to cover. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for the viewers, subscribers, 87. We're a few short of 100. Please follow us at BumpTalk_ and email us anything you want at bumptalk1@gmail.com.
We're the biggest bums in the game.
We are.
So
what do we know, right? We're just bums.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Have a good night. See you guys in 2 weeks.